All right, we talked a little bit about Jihaad Campbell and how much we love that pick. So you could start there.
Well, I'll be honest. So I'm at the combine on a Friday night, and the linebackers are running. The defensive line had already run and worked out. So I'm literally I'm sitting in the end zone. I'm just watching Jihaad Campbell warm up. I mean, you can't. I couldn't take. There was all these linebackers. James, all these guys, James Pierce, Jalen Walker, all these guys are out there. For some reason, I'm watching Campbell. Like I'm watching his takeoff. I'm watching him warm up. I'm watching him stretch. Like that's what a linebacker looks like. He's 6'2", he's 235, 240. He runs a 4.5. Like you look at him and he's playing in Alabama. He's recruited by Nick. You go, like, I don't know. I didn't know yet where he was going to be slotted, but it just looked like a first-round pick, And I remember filming him, like warming up. I'm like, that guy's got a burst. It's natural. Like he just was smooth in everything that he did. All the drills, he was smooth. When Eagles got him, I'm not exactly sure. Maybe you know more, cuz about the trade up with to get him at 31. Like I don't know if Kansas City was taking him or whatever, but regardless.
So basically, it wasn't about Kansas City. It was about other teams trading with Kansas City.
In. Yeah,
and they just wanted to be sure because they had gotten stoned. They tried to trade up 3 different times, right?
Okay,
and he got stoned. They loved him, and Vic loved him. And they weren't going to lose. They weren't going to lose him over something like that.
Well, I mean, we talked about it last week. I mean, Vic coached the Dome Patrol back in New Orleans. He's a linebacker guy. He's a linebacker central defense in what they do. Like, I believe now you can cross-check this, but I think it's the first round linebacker they drafted since Jerry Robinson.
Yes,
we never saw this before. But that's Vic. Like Vic deserves to get what he wants. He's proven himself in his business, and you put him and Zach Bond and. Any combination in there right now. They're going to find packages for, 3 linebacker sets where he's going to come off the edge because he's good off the edge. Like he can dip, he can rip, he's got speed off the edge. He can bend. So they're going to find ways to, have him and Nolan Smith coming off the edge. They'll find different packages for him to keep him on the field. But it's good. Like that guy's, his drops in coverage are elite in the depth that he gets. I mean, it's a great pick. There's no way you can argue against it. Now, is it something that the Eagles have ever invested in before? Not really. But you put him and Zach Bond in there and let them go and you cover them up with Jordan Davis and Jalen and, Ojomo and their reduced fronts. Let those guys just go run and hit. I mean, you're going to get what you got last year. A bunch of forced fumbles, a bunch of fumble recoveries, a bunch of guys getting blown up. Like, it's going to be like, they're going to have competitions. Who's the first one to the ball? Who's the first one to get first contact?
I'm curious to see what you think about Mukuba because he's like a CJ, GJ kind of kid. Like that's who they compare him to. What do you think of him?
Well, I mean, transferred. He was at Clemson. I remember watching him when I was studying trot last year. He was at Clemson for a long time. He's been a 4-year starter. You go to Texas, you go to the elite program in this country. They've got talent everywhere. And so he shows up, like number 4, he's got interceptions. He's taking the ball. I want my safeties to take the ball away. He's an aggressive tackler. I mean, you could honestly, like Malachi Starks was sort of the cream of the crop, and maybe Emanwari were kind of the cream at safety, but Mukuba was right there. If you couldn't get those guys in the first round, that's where they were going to go. Then, there was a group right below him. And I thought he was right there because you watch these safeties in college now, like there's no such thing as a pure free safety, a box safety. Like you've got in college football where there's 4 wide receivers, you have to cover as much as well, not just that, but as much as you get 2x2 sets and they're motioning to one side to a 3x1 set. Somebody's covering these receivers.
Yep.
So safeties are dropping down and covering these guys. And that's what he had to do. So I like him. I think he's aggressive. Do you want your safeties a little bit bigger? Nah, I don't know. Like he's right there at 6 feet, 5'11", and will change or whatever. I mean, I think he's fine. I think it's a good pick. It's position of need. They lost, Chauncey. So basically all teams have packages for 3 safeties in this business right now. And there's a place to, whether it's red zone, certain passing situations, you almost have to play 3 at this time.
All right. Yesterday I had Matt on. He says hello, by the way.
Yeah.
And it's funny because he texts me after the Ty Robinson, we were going back and forth, and he's like, dude, I'll go on the show whenever you want. I got to talk about this kid. I go, all right.
Yeah.
Like, we're in. I love him. I just love the kid. He's just a coach's dream. So what do you think about him on tape?
Well, first of all, Matt was at the combine on Friday night when the defensive line worked out. He went there to watch Ty Robinson and support him in his workouts. I mean, he's just a big, thick body that loves to play football. Doesn't stay on blocks, gets off blocks, up fundamentally. Like, if you got to replace Milton Williams, and they got to replace Milton Williams, I think Ty Robinson's a better player. So there's nothing about this kid that says, look, we'll see if Jordan Davis can stay on the field this year and he plays a higher percentage of snaps, but he's immediately in the rotation. Milton basically became a starter last year because Jordan, was playing 30% of the snaps. So if he plays 30% of the snaps, Ty Robinson is going to get a bunch of those snaps with Jalen Carter and Ajomo. So I love him. I love the guy. Guy's got a great motor. He's got tremendous size. He's 6'6". He's 290. Like, he's just a bull. He's just a bull in there. I mean, he looks like a defensive tackle.
Yeah, he's a meat locker man.
He was strong at the Senior Bowl. I don't know. Like, I thought he went right where he should go. I thought maybe a 3rd-round pick. But you get him, and I think they got Milton Williams in the 4th round. Like, it's just a great replacement. You can plug and play this. He's going to play game 1 on this team. He'll be active. He'll be in the rotation. And then, how many snaps he gets depends on his production right now. But he can flat out play. And he's going to fit in real well with this defensive line rotation.
McWilliams, the kid from Central Florida.
Yeah. Well, look, you probably like your corners a little bit bigger, but he's got production. Mm-hmm. First time I saw him was when I really noticed him was when Colorado went to Central Florida and played him this year. And you just watch him against, Shador, you watch him against Travis Hunter, you watch him against those receivers, and he showed up. And then I did the Hula Bowl this year, and they played the Hula Bowl at Central Florida. And so a lot of those kids were hanging around working out, so I got a chance to kind of see him. But I thought, I don't know, like, they've got depth at corner right now. But, they've been hiding. Keely Ringo was there for 2 years. He really didn't get on the field much. But, with Slay out, you got a chance right there to go compete for one of the starting spots. We know, Quinyon and Cooper are locked in. And so looks like there's a spot open, but everybody's playing 4 corners. Everybody's dressing 4. He's going to have a chance right now. He saw a lot of football in Central Florida. So I like the kid. Just like him a little bit bigger.
And that would be Smail Mondon, the kid from Georgia who was hurt. So what do you think of Mondon?
He looks like a player, cuz he's number 2 on Georgia's defense. Like, the guy just strikes. Like, he's 6'2". Now, he's a little lean because he's a pumped up safety, but he's a 3-year starter. And, he looks like a pumped up safety. So, which is fine. He's probably like, I don't know if he's 220. That might be the only knock. But that guy can strike like a cobra. Like, that guy's, his lateral
strike
movement.
like a cobra.
That guy's lateral movement and his ability to strike. Georgia doesn't make many mistakes. Like, this kid looks like a football player. I know he's banged up and missed some time, but I think they got good value right there.
From Boston College. I think he's more of a center than a guard, but Drew Kendall.
He's the best center in the whole draft. Wasn't even close. Like, he's not even close. He started 37 straight games. Like, I'm friends with his dad, Pete Kendall. Like, first of all, his dad played 13 years in the league.
Yes.
All right. I saw his dad at the Senior Bowl. So we were out one night, and so I went back and I said, look, let me go study your son. Because Pete came out of Boston College. Drew went there. He's the best center in this draft. And so can he play guard, Cuz? I'm sure he can, but he played 37 straight games at center in a very good program that turns out offensive linemen every single year in this draft. They got a right tackle, Ozzie Trapillo. Mike Vrabel's son is in this league. He was a right tackle there. Like, they turn out offense. It's a factory. How they train them, how they develop them. That kid stepped on that college campus and started day one for Boston College. That guy could, in the right program, like, look, he's not going to beat out Cam Jurgens. He doesn't need to. But he's their backup center swing guard right now.
Right, and here's the story. Because if Cam Jurgens gets hurt, you don't have to move your all-pro guard to play
Brandon
center.
Dickerson.
Right?
Like, you keep Brandon Dickerson next to Malata.
Right.
Yeah, smart. Like, the kid's super smart. He's super tough. Like, he's big. He's big enough. I mean, he's 6'4". But his dad was a great player, man.
Yeah.
Dad played 13 years. Like, he's got bloodlines there.
Yeah. Kyle, right? It's a perfect spot, right? Because there's no pressure. Come in, we'll develop you. You sit for 2 years, 3 years, whatever it is. You know, you learn. It's a great spot. I was talking to Derek McCord, Kyle's dad, and I'm like, dude, this is a dream. Forget the fact that you guys love the Eagles and all this stuff, but it's a dream situation because you just go in and you got a job for a couple of years and you can develop.
Well, I mean, Tanner McKee is still here, right? So, you know, eventually they're probably going to trade one of these guys, Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Like, he's going to get a chance to be the third quarterback. That's his first, you know, if you're a practice squad, if they go to practice squad, fine. But, you know, quarterbacks on practice squad, like, they get plucked. So the goal.
DTR, they're going to move DTR. I don't think DTR's the guy. They love McKee. McKee's their true backup. And you develop Kyle as your third quarterback.
Well, I mean, that's the competition right there, for the number 3 job. And that's Kyle's, you know, that's his. Like, that would be my goal if I was Kyle this year. Go beat out DTR, get the number 3 spot. Any injuries take place, all of a sudden you're in the mix. You know, there's no rush to play him. He's going to be well coached. He's going to watch a really elite program. It's fantastic for Kyle.
Then they take 2 project tackles, right? Let's go to.
Well, Myles Hinton. Look,
did you play with Chris Hinton?
Yes. He's the single best offensive lineman I've ever played with, and maybe one of the best I've ever seen. You know, he was involved in the John Elway trade in '83. You know, from Baltimore to Indianapolis, and honestly, there's not 10 guys that have ever played tackle in this league that are as talented as Chris Hinton. Now, Chris Hinton was a freak. He was a freak athletically, but he came out of Northwestern. The guy owns 20 McDonald's. Like, the guy is a multi-millionaire. But his 2 kids, Chris Hinton, his son, last year is with the Chargers. This kid, Myles, he bounced around from Stanford, all right, goes to Michigan, starts at Michigan. Like, the guy is just super smart, can play any position, can play guard, can play tackle, got enormous size. I think he's over 6'7". But I tell you, we used to have, you know, back in the day, we had these drills, these Oklahoma drills. Like, you'd go out there and it was just one-on-one football. For 20 minutes, you play one-on-one football. There wasn't one guy we had a good team in Indianapolis. We had one guy that could stay in front of Chris Hinton and could take him on. Like, you just heard a collision. That guy was so talented. His ability to explode was like nothing else. And he'd go out, Bruce Smith, go out there and just shut Bruce Smith down. Like, I don't even know if he even put, like, gloves on. Like, it was just so easy for that guy.